But I find in conversations, most people that are stuck in a passive kind of stress. They're stuck thinking about the world they want. They're stuck figuring out what they want to be when they grow up. They're stuck evaluating all their friends on social media that are doing better than them, and they feel like they should be doing better too. They're just not moving towards the goal. Stress is normal, but I think active stress is better than passive stress. But I think I need to define what the difference between active and passive stress is so you can make the decision for yourself. Passive stress. Let me define passive stress. People that tend to be passive stressors love thinking about all the bad things that could happen. They love thinking of all the good things that can happen. They love planning all the dreams and goals they have in the future. They spend all their time writing it out, thinking about it, worrying about it. I often say worry is praying for what you don't want. It's one of my favorite Dr. Elko quotes. Worry is praying for what you don't want. Passive stressors worry a lot. They sit and they wring their hands and they think. But what are they not doing? They're not acting. Active stress is the opposite. Active stress, these are the people that are a lot of your high performers. They just keep piling and piling and piling stress on. They feel better when they're moving. Movement is better than sitting on your hands thinking about all the things that aren't going right or all the things you could have if you were actually moving. Active stress is not only focusing and building into the future, but it's stacking stress. It's building more and more things and developing a pattern of movement. It's moving towards the things that are most important, but constantly in motion. Now, look, are there benefits and times where stress in general could just be alleviated if you took a little bit of both of those worlds? Maybe so. But I find in conversations, most people that are stuck in a passive kind of stress. They're stuck thinking about the world they want. They're stuck figuring out what they want to be when they grow up. They're stuck evaluating all their friends on social media that are doing better than them, and they feel like they should be doing better too. They're just not moving towards the goal. Active stress can get out of control too. Believe me, I stack a lot of things on top of the day. An average day, an average week, an average year is stacked upon stacked, but the movement helps me prioritize. And as long as I'm self-aware, and as an active stressor, you have to be self-aware, I'm able to reshuffle, reprioritize, refocus. There is the time to pause and think. Don't get me wrong. You cannot just move and never stop and breathe and think. But you have to be able to identify that being stuck and thinking about it over and over and over again and not acting upon it is not going to get you to your goal. Movement will. Just walking will help you get somewhere faster. Even if your goal is to go from the East Coast to the West Coast, it doesn't do any good if you stop and think about it. Even moving and walking towards the West Coast will make you closer to your goal, even inch by inch. And the reality is that's hard. That's hard to do. Taking that first step is hard to do. Sometimes for the active stressors, it's hard to take the step back to soften the landing, to relax, to breathe, to think, to reshuffle and reprioritize. We're not saying that you should only do one thing, but if you're only going to do one thing, I believe that you should focus on a little bit more of the active stress than the passive. Stop thinking about all the things you have on your plate. Stop worrying about all the things that are going wrong or going right. Stop focusing on all the things you want in the future. Start doing them. Start acting on them. Start stacking upon them. Start feeling a little stressed because you're moving forward. You're moving forward and failing forward. You're growing, you're learning, and you're succeeding. That kind of mentality and that mindset shift to active from passive will help you get from the East Coast to the West Coast way faster. Maybe you'll find a car along the way and zip across. Maybe an airline ticket with the right relationship or the right connection. Lots of things can happen when movement starts. But if we don't start moving, we can't get to the goals and dreams that we're thinking about. It's extremely important. So if you find yourself as a passive stressor, let's switch. Maybe you can't passively turn off all of them and get active on everything, but start with one thing at a time. What's the one thing you want to prioritize and start moving towards your goal? What's it going to be today? Follow us on YouTube. If you know somebody that is stuck and wringing their hands about all the things they want to be and want to do when they grow up, and I mean grow up, you could be 40, 50, 60 years old and still having these conversations with your friends and yourself, send them the video. Send them the video. Forward it to them. Like it, share it, tag them. Let's help people move from passive to active. And then let's help the active people take a breath and relax and think every once in a while and reshuffle what's most important.